Hi, and welcome to Fruit That Will Last. My name is Andy Smith, and over the next 6 weeks, we'll look together at 5 habits effective people have in common and at how you can begin to adopt those habits in your life. Before each session, there'll be some material to look at and reflect on, so you're ready to contribute to the discussion when we gather. This week, it's quite a gentle introduction as it's week 1. So keep listening as we learn just how distracting the world of work is and just what these habits of effective people are. So, distractions. Those things that grab your attention and before you know it, the time's gone. Here you are at the start of the working day in pre-lockdown times, quite possibly in the office, or you might have been working from home. But wherever you are, you're geared up, you're ready to go, you've got a clear sense of purpose as to what it is that you're looking to achieve from the day. And often the first thing that knocks you off your planned course for the day is email. There's a group in the United States called the Radicati Group. They regularly survey and analyse the scale and impact of email in the world. And their last report, which is already 2 if not 3 years old, calculated that there are over 270 billion emails a day in circulation. Does it feel like more than your fair share come across your desk and your inbox? That the average worker spends between 2.5 to 4 hours a day on email. And that since the advent of smartphones, we now check email over 15 times a day, and I suspect that that figure has significantly increased in the 2 or 3 years since the last report was produced. And if email doesn't stymie you, well, there's always meetings. In the United States, it's estimated that over 11 million meetings take place in a work context every day. That the average worker spends 62 meetings per month. Attends 62 meetings per month. The Harvard Business Review produced a report a couple of years ago. It reported that 15% of the average organisation's time was taken up with meetings. If I'm honest, I'm surprised it wasn't more, and I'm absolutely certain that there are organisations where it is a significantly higher percentage of the organisation's time. People who attended meetings, of those people, 37%, over a third, said they felt that the meetings added no value whatsoever. 39% of people fessed up to having slept in a meeting, and nearly 3/4 of people who attend meetings readily admit that they do other work in a meeting. And if you can dodge the emails and you can dodge the meetings, certainly when we were working in the offices, then there's always interruptions. It's calculated that the average worker is interrupted 4 times an hour, once every 15 minutes. And when you see figures that suggest that it can take us anywhere from between 5 to 20 minutes to get back to the level of concentration that we had prior to being interrupted, you can tell just how distracting those interruptions are. And it doesn't stop when you leave the office and get home. Families and friends also can be distracting. It's calculated that the average family spend over 5 hours a week chauffeuring the kids around, and a significant proportion of workers spend more than 10 hours a week driving the kids around. Over 60% of people these days binge watch television, with the definition of binge watching being that you watch 2 episodes or more immediately following on from one another. So, all told, there are lots and lots of distractions, and because of those distractions, we do this. And because we do this, we feel like that. So did any of that ring any bells with you? What I'd like you to do now is just to pause the slideshow and to consider why it is that you're here, what it is that you hope to learn, what questions you have, what stops you being effective, what stops you getting as much done as you like. And I started to ask you that in the email last week, but really start to concentrate now on specifically what is it that you hope to get out of the course and to get help with. And after you've watched the next few slides, when we get into the discussion proper in the group on Tuesday, you'll get a chance to share that and to discuss it with other people on the course. And now to take a look at what personal effectiveness does look like. As I said in my introduction, effective people have some habits in common. The first habit is focused attention, the ability, when it matters, to really zone in for a short period of time, possibly 20 minutes to 40 minutes, but to really switch off from all other distractions and concentrate on what really matters to them. It's an absolute key to being effective, and I believe it is much more straightforward than some people might think. And I'm really confident that with a little bit of help, we can get you all being really capable of focusing your attention, albeit for short periods of time. Effective people recognize that prioritization is yesterday's keyword and yesterday's news. Today we have to think about choices, and we'll cover this more, I think it's in week 3. But they recognize that we have to make choices, and that means acknowledging to ourselves that we are going to do some things, and that means we are not going to do other things. Effective people have given up this pipe dream that we will actually manage to get to the bottom of our to-do list. Habit number 3 is that effective people work from a big picture. This is one of the things that helps them to really focus their attention. They know what their purpose in life is. They know what their major goals are, and they use those to structure and to plan their time to make sure that they have the time and the space available to work on those important things, and then fit the other stuff in around it, rather than letting the other stuff take over and drive and buffet them from side to side like a stick or a twig or a leaf making its way down a mountain stream. So effective people work from a big picture. The fourth habit is that they build good systems. Now please, those of you who can't abide spreadsheets and planning systems and planograms and Sasco wall planners, do not worry. I do not advocate the use of any particular system or way of working. What I try and do across the course of the next 6 weeks is to help you learn what the important principles are, and then encourage you to work out how those best work for you, given your personality and your character and the way that you like to work. So for those of you who love spreadsheets, it's great. For those of you who are happy with post-its and bits of paper, as long as the system works for you, that's fine. But what all effective people have in common is they build good systems, which tends to lead to them repeating good effective behaviors. And the last effective habit of effective people is that they build good habits. They've learnt either intuitively or by learning how to build good habits, how to repeat what's effective and to lose what holds you back. So those are the 5 effective habits that are common to all people. And that's what we'll be looking at across the course of the next 6 weeks, gradually building up step by step. Now, what all of this means is that we need to change. And it is you that has to change. This is the most important learning, and you're getting it before we've even met and gathered online. But as I said to you in my first email to you, if you want to change the way that the world treats you, you have to change the way that you are with the world. And it is possible to do that. And it's not only possible, it is relatively straightforward as well. And that's really what we aim to do across the course of the next 6 weeks. And just a couple of adages to leave you with to ponder on before we come together for our first group session. So I've said you have to change. As you're making your journey of change, if something feels comfortable to you, then it isn't change. I'm really sorry, but change doesn't fit you like an old pair of slippers. On the other hand, if you're trying to make changes and it feels like you're trying to write left-handed or swim with a dressing gown on, then be encouraged, because you probably are changing. And I say this to people right at the outset to try and encourage them. And when you combine it with the next adage, which is that simple isn't easy, hopefully to recognize that actually quite often we beat ourselves up and get downhearted far too easily. Everything I'm going to say to you over the next 6 weeks is pretty simple and straightforward. It really isn't rocket science, and I'm sure that a lot of it you will have heard before. The problem with lots and lots of people is that they think because something is simple, it should be easy. And actually, simple can be really, really difficult to achieve. So because simple isn't easy, and the changes that you will be trying to make are simple, but that doesn't mean they're easy. And when you try to make them, it feels uncomfortable and clunky. Please, please, please don't beat yourself up. Don't lose heart. Persevere and keep trying. When we look at how to build good habits in session 5 or 6, I can't remember which it is now, you'll see that the key to success is repetition of small changes. But for now, just remember, simple isn't easy, and if it feels comfortable, it isn't change. So I hope that's just given you some gentle things to think about and reflect on before we come together and meet and start looking at the first of those changes on Tuesday morning. I really look forward to seeing you then. Bye-bye.